Thank you. I thought it was 25 minutes, not 5 minutes and 25 slides. So when I was about 8, I asked my dad what a kilometer was, and he said, you know, why? And I said, well, Spock keeps talking about kilometers. He said, Spock, that's Star Trek. Everything on that show is made up. There's no such thing as a kilometer. Well, Father of the Year was not only wrong about that, he was wrong about a lot when it comes to sci-fi, because they don't make stuff up, they just invent it early. And who learned that better than Motorola when they rolled out the first prototype of their flip phone? Because what happened was when the users tested it, they said the buttons are on the wrong end, and the engineers asked, how do you know? Well, because that's not the way it was on Star Trek. So right away, they flipped it, and what we know as the Star Tech got its design from Star Trek's communicator. There's a lot of innovations we're going to look at, but what I'm not going to do for you today is connect the dots. That's your job. This is innovations outside of the association bubble, so I don't want to hear on the review he didn't connect it to associations. We're going to look at a few things, for example, robots. Robbie the robot from Lost in Space scared me when I was a kid. The fembots from Austin Powers did scare me. That's a different slide deck, but we won't get into that. But what I did always think is I could get away from him if I went up or down stairs. Well, unfortunately now, Honda has created a robot, Asimov, that you may have seen here in the video, who can go up and down stairs, bounce on one foot. He can open and manipulate things with his hands that most people, when they see him, think there's actually a person in there. It not only comes on 2 legs, robots now come on 4 legs. So if you think you can get away from him, you can't. The bird you're seeing in the video is actually a robot that's flying on solar power. The other animals that you're seeing, they're calling them dogs, analyze the landscape and decide where to place their feet, and they can recover from different issues as far as balance goes. You think you're going to get in your car and make your getaway? No, guess what? Google took that over. It's now driving the car for you. 45 miles per hour, adjusting to cones that are being changed in different places, and humans who are standing on the track acting as guinea pigs do not take that job in order to make sure that the car can adjust as it navigates. Call your salesperson. Now you're going to end up in a Minority Report type situation where the product that you're looking at can be displayed, manipulated, and you can have a conversation with the salesperson face to face, so to speak. If you're not comfortable with that, you can go to your exhibit at the trade show where you have a 3-dimensional hologram that is so good when you go up and put your hand through it, you check to see whether or not you have any residue on your hand, as this lady's doing. Out damn spot. There's still some traditional things like billboards that'll be out there, and we saw a Minority Report again where those changed. This case here, the transportation changes based on the language that's selected on your cell phone. So as she walks away, you see it change back to its native language, which is English. But because she had an Asian language selected on her cell phone, we saw the billboard change. So that takes care of things like translation. Here it's all about you in the billboard. I don't know if you remember also Minority Report, billboards changed as somebody walked closer to it and displayed products. In this case, it's a face recognition system, and it recognizes the gender and changes and puts you in the ad. So it's not only that it's going to change the product to what you're most likely buying, but it's going to change the ad and put you in it. And in the event that you have a cell phone that you've cracked and kept in your pocket, well, in this case, they bend. They roll up. This is an LCD that rolls and bends and changes function based on the form that it's in. So you might not even need this any longer, though, because what's going on here is as a contact lens that projects the information onto your retina. So you're no longer looking at your phone. Your email is being projected into you, and you're looking at things like Facebook profiles based on Facebook recognition or facial recognition. You trip, you skin your knee, you go to Kinkos because they're not printing paper anymore, they're printing skin. They're actually jet printers, the dot matrix printers that are spraying instead of ink, they're spraying cells that are created from your own cells. In this specialized printer here, you can press Control-P to print a bladder. Wait for it. And this bladder that the physician's holding in his hand is not only useful in terms of scientific research, but we can ask Luke M. here, who's in the video, how useful it is, because he had one implanted when he was 10. So from his own cells, they produced a bladder that he is now using. He's a sophomore at the University of Connecticut, captain of the wrestling team. So the end-all, be-all for those of us who are Star Wars, Star Trek geeks was the holodeck. 3-dimensional printing, broken the 1 billion pixel resolution barrier, sensory, projecting into the eye, and we're going to have a holodeck soon. So this is an update on the the Nokia Morph that I showed last year. You saw the cartoon version on one side. The scientific lab you're seeing on the right side is the actual, they're building the real prototype that works, based on nanotechnology. First time you ever heard nanotechnology, probably? Star Trek, Next Generation. So now your job is to go out and connect the dots. Take a look around. I had to eliminate about 80 cool things I found because I only had 5 minutes. There's a lot going on out there, so that's your job to go figure out how to use it in your industry. Thanks.